Hey guys, we're back to more Lyre, and we're gonna try and finish Lyre soon. Full disclosure, the last time I recorded Lyre was like 2 months ago, but it should be fine. Also, this video is gonna have to be like 2 hours long, because the title of this video says it's Lyre Chapter 9, but we're still in Lyre Chapter 8. So we're gonna have to finish Chapter 8, and then read all of Chapter 9, so that next video, whenever the title says it's Lyre Chapter 10, I'm not lying to you. So this is the 2-hour Lyre episode, thank you. Last time, Richter met not quite God, he met almost God. And he's still in the prison cell, after what happened with Raynar. And then we switched over to Lyall's perspective. And he's gonna go do something. I don't really remember. After laying down and allowing himself to fully dry off, Lyall rises from his bed and begins to get ready for the ceremony. Like the coronation? Is it the coronation of... Guys, I promise I remember his name. I'm just not sure. I just don't want to say it. What's his name? Raynar's son. What's his name? Guys, it's been so long since I've read Lyre. It's... Adrius, there we go. The coronation of Adrius, right? It's best if he arrives a little bit early. Looking in one of the mirrors on his wall, he runs his paws through his fur. As untamable as it is, he'd like for his fur to look as decent as possible. After tidying up his fur, he walks over to his armor stand. His ceremonial armor is loosely thrown onto it from the night before. He takes the full-body suit and slides it up his legs and around his torso, sliding his arms into the sleeves. It's warm and lined with leather on the inside. He then takes the breastplate. Gorget? How do you say that? Gorget? That's the Slaves Fire 2 relic. And connected pauldrons and puts them on. He's gotten better at putting his armor on by himself over the years. It's a relatively easy set of armor to put on, considering it's mostly meant to be ornamental. The armor that he would actually wear in combat is somewhere in the trunk, and that's very hard to put on. It would be easier with 2 people, maybe a squire, but Lyall refused having a squire when the opportunity was given to him. He doesn't entirely need the help, and he has no wisdom to offer yet. He just had to accept that he would be wasting their time. Raynar wasn't upset about it, though. Rarely ever got too upset at things. Walking the last bracer onto his wrist, he stands in the mirror and looks himself over. This armor may be a bit ridiculous at times, but it's very comfortable and protects from the cold perfectly. He latches the cape onto his pauldrons, equips the sheath for his sword, and goes to leave for the door. But just as he's about to leave, he looks at the helmet still sitting on the armor rack. It's a typical knight's helm, fitted to a wolf's head and even styled to look like a wolf. Every knight in the Royal Guard has one styled after their species, but nobody ever wears them. They're extremely uncomfortable, and not really needed for day-to-day duties. Most knights either carry them around under their arms, or just don't even bother to bring them. For a moment, Lyall considers bringing it to the ceremony, then reconsiders knowing that he won't even be on duty. Even as a captain, he'll most likely just get to hang back in the crowd and watch from the center of the room. He can't help but wonder if they planned it this way. Maybe they didn't want the one person who was closest to Richter planted right alongside the throne. Then again, nobody really accused Lyall of anything yet. He steps through the door and out into the dim corridor. Thankfully, the throne room isn't too far from his bedchambers. He can even hear some distant chatter coming from where the throne room is. It's pretty far away, but his hearing is better than most. He starts walking down the hall with his paw relaxingly placed on the handle of his dagger. On his way, he passes a few people who are clearly making an effort to pay him no mind. Being one of the tallest people in the hallway can make it hard to blend in. It appears that most people are trying to avoid contact with him, though. He notices that when he makes eye contact with some people, they avert their eyes and continue to talk with whoever they're strolling with. Just have to get used to it. People will be people. It's the throne room. More and more people clog the hall as he approaches the large doors leading into the throne room. Some of them he recognizes as nobility from the nearby cities. There are a lot of lords and traders of all different shapes and sizes. Even spots a few heads of some smaller noble houses from the west. They're bearing their crest proudly and chatting amongst themselves. There's even a small band off to the side talking with each other and tuning their instruments. Everyone is standing up against the walls and pillars, allowing the light to beam through the windows onto the floor. It shines brightly and illuminates the whole room, giving each plant growing on the wall a healthy glow. Lyall desperately tries to spot anyone in the crowd that he knows, so he's not standing around awkwardly. Suddenly, he hears someone a short distance away say his name. Guys, it's been so long, I don't really remember what Kadaj's voice is, so I'm just going to... We're just going to do this now. Sir Lyall? Lyall turns around to see Kadaj standing alone, his paws behind his back. He has a thoughtful expression on his face. The charismatic attitude he carries is currently absent. Hello, Lord Kadaj. Hope things are well. As well as they can be. He looks at the ground in discomfort. Also hope that things are good with you, given everything that's happened. Lyall would start venting about his problems right here, right now, but he decided to give the simple answer. Kadaj doesn't know him too well, so we'll try to spare him the details. Nothing's been great, but all I can do is keep moving forward. That's all any of us can do. Fortunately for myself, I am unable to go anywhere. Being a hostage and all that. He says that last bit in a joking tone, but Lyall takes it very seriously. Well, we have to keep an open mind when it comes to these things. Surely you understand how everyone's suspicions are fairly placed. Oh, of course. Makes plenty sense. He says this with a hint of sarcasm sprinkled in with sincerity. I'm willing to be compliant for the sake of order. Lord Richter and I have talked about this before, and knows how passionate I am when it comes to that. He swings his paws to the front and clasps them, arms drooping down while bouncing on his heels. By the way, how is our mutual friend? Really hope that he's okay. He's as good as anyone would be in a prison cell, but last I saw him, he seemed to be taking it better than most. Richter's strong, so I know he'll get through it. The conversation has been lowered to a whisper as Lyall begins to speak of Richter. He's definitely the best of us when it comes to that. Something about him has always struck me as different. He's skilled politically, but still holds strengths in other areas. What do you mean by that? Well, I don't know much about his past, but I'd assume since he's not of noble blood, there's something interesting to be said of it. Lyall wonders why Kadaj is bringing this up. It is a bit interesting. Most of what I know is that Richter was a commoner that rose to a high position of power. Something about it being like a game to him. Never talks about it much. Doesn't seem to be someone fixated on the past. No, he doesn't. At least, not his own. Yeah. Lyall looks down with a bit of sadness in his eyes. Really care for him, don't you? What? This blunt statement takes him a bit off guard. To be fair, he was spacing out a bit. Sorry, I didn't mean to pry. It's just, I've been hearing people talk. Yes, well, people talk. I know, but I don't care much for that. Talking is one thing, but seeing is another. Mainly, I notice the way you look at him. Don't mean to offend, but it's blatantly obvious. Lyall shifts uncomfortably, not liking where this cat is going. The blush on his face is clear as day. Where is this going? Please don't take this the wrong way. I have no intention of showing any form of judgment. Where I am from, I also have someone that I care for deeply. As much as I hate to admit it. Says this last part under his breath. You'll never hear any judgment from me. I'm only here to help, and I know how much you care for him. Lyall makes a puzzled and embarrassed face. What anybody thinks is up to them. I appreciate your concern, Lord Kadaj, but we don't need your sympathies. Lyall. Kadaj suddenly takes him by the arm and brings him to a secluded corner of the room, bringing his tone to a hissing whisper. I don't want to see Richter swinging by his neck. Or losing it. He loosens his grip on Lyall's arm and lowers his head. Lyall sees a look of doom appear on his expression. I'm not entirely sure you know how these things work, but this just doesn't look good for him. Or you. I know that, and I'm pretty sure I know how these things work. Lyall's slowly getting more and more annoyed as the conversation continues. Have you ever participated in a trial? No. Have you ever witnessed a trial? I've witnessed one, but it wasn't for anything big. Maybe Kadaj is right. Might not be prepared for this after all. So you understand how quick something like this can be. They're never quick. This one will be. He was found at the scene of a crime in almost impossible circumstances, accused of killing a king. Not to mention he's not of noble blood. If it wasn't for his rank, he would most likely have been killed on the spot. He's right. Lyall recalls the night when Bjorn tried to kill Richter. Sometimes he forgets how important blood is. Not to mention his foreign status. If it was a common castle servant or a run-of-the-mill guard, then it wouldn't be that big of a problem. His status makes this 10 times worse. I'd like to think he didn't do it, but even if he's innocent and found guilty, Lyre will still end up executing a foreign ambassador. And depending on where it goes, it could lead to an all-out war. And even if he didn't do it, then it means something much worse. He didn't do it. This escapes from Lyall's mouth with a growl, surprising even him. Believe what you want, but that won't help him. I know, but he didn't. I just know it. So that leaves me? That's not what I was implying. I'm sorry, and am I interrupting something? Leaf walks up next to Lyall, looking up at the two of them with a curious gaze. No, Sir Reed and I were just talking about Lord Richter. Leaf dons an annoyed expression. Yes, I'm sure everyone is. He turns to Lyall. Can I please borrow you for a moment? Both Leaf and Lyall look to Kadaj. Do you mind? No, it's quite alright. There will be plenty of time to talk later. He swiftly turns to Leaf and nods. Lord Leaf. Leaf's eyes light up for just a moment, and Lyall can tell he's flattered. Flattered. Actually, it's just Leaf. As you please. He looks to Lyall. Hope to speak with you again soon, Sir Lyall. Sure. With that, Kadaj turns around and walks off towards the front of the throne room. Leaf takes Lyall by the paw and leads him over to another corner of the room. Lyall has to hunch over a bit, but follows behind. Lyall, I haven't had the chance to say this, but I'm really sorry about everything that has happened. I know that our king was like a father to you, and he was a dear friend to me for a long time. His little gloved wing is still gripping Lyall's paw tightly. Not only that, but our friend from Erin is accused of being the killer. Lyall can tell that his voice is a bit weak. But what I'm trying to say is that I know how you feel. And our poor prince is in a lot of pain because of all this. Pulls on Lyall's paw and brings him closer to his face. So please refrain from speaking about these things in public. This is probably the most worked up Lyall has ever seen Leaf. Lets go of his paw and relaxes his body a bit. Alright, I'm sorry. But why shouldn't I? Because right now we need to keep things a bit under control. All under control. He lowers his voice to the softest whisper. Lyall has to lean in to hear him, even with his enhanced hearing. If anybody hears of these little conversations, word will spread. Public opinion can be a huge detriment to something like this.
We can't have the situation delve into more chaos than it already has. Do you understand what I'm saying? I suppose. Need to keep a low profile. Feel free to ask questions to those you truly trust, but try to stay away from gossip and rumors. Oh, it wasn't like that. As much as I don't personally trust Kadaj, especially at the moment, he wasn't trying anything like that. It's small, but I do get the feeling that he wants to prevent Richter's head being on a spike. Either that, or he just wants the peace that he's always preaching about. Or both. Leaf shuffles slightly. This is why I wanted to talk to you in private earlier. I think I may have found something. Something that has to do with Richter. I wanted to show it to you first, though. What is it? Leaf grips his wings together tightly. Can't talk about it here. Lyall crosses his arms with an impatient look on his face. He didn't think things had to be this private. Okay. I'll head straight to your study after this, got it? Right. Goodbye for now. Leaf scuttles off into the crowd of people and takes his place at the front. Given his height, it makes sense. Lyall goes to take his place in the crowd, yet he overhears something from a group of people. An old lord talking to another man of similar qualities. From what I hear, he was assigned to the trader as a bodyguard by King Raynar himself. A glorified servant, if you ask me. Can't be that bad, can it? Yes, well, it grew to be something more than that. Lyall slowly walks up to the man, his paw still resting on his dagger. According to the rumors, they become something like blasphemous lovers. Honestly, I sometimes wonder why he was ever given the rank of captain in the first place. Ahem. The first noble turns around with a smarmy grin on his face. The second and third already saw Lyall approaching and quickly avert their gaze with embarrassed expressions. I couldn't help but overhear you speaking ill of Lord Richter and myself. The fact that Richter is in a cell won't stop me from letting him fight his own battles, but you've also insulted me. I would advise you not to talk about things you know nothing about, unless you wish to fight the one whom you spoke so rudely. The man grumbles to himself and straightens his jacket. Please, the lord you speak of isn't even a lord. Despite your rank, you're a northern bumpkin from a dying family. I wouldn't be throwing your strength around if I were you, Lord Reed. It's Captain Reed to you. And I'll defend myself against anyone who speaks behind my back like a coward. My allegiance is to this kingdom and its people, but I will not bow to the likes of you. With that, he turns around and walks away. One of the idiots says something, but he doesn't listen. They can have their last word if they want, but he's not gonna stoop to their level. He knows that this completely goes against Leaf's advice, but he's not just gonna let people get away with stuff like that. He still has his pride. They want to gossip about him or Richter, they better make sure he's out of earshot. Lyall moves up a bit towards the center of the crowd and stands in front of a tall bull and bear. He doesn't want to block anyone's view. After about a minute of waiting, the noise begins to calm down. Everyone in the hall is silent, aside from a few whispers. Lyall can see Liz standing off to the side of the throne. Her silhouette is bathed in a golden glow. Across from her is someone in a green robe. They're holding a small pillow, and on it sits the crown. Raynar's crown. It's probably been fit to Adrius's head, but it's definitely still the same crown. It's been passed down through the Ajian family for as long as anybody knows. The door opens at the right side of the room, and there stands Adrius. His face is dull and emotionless, like a statue. He's also wearing a gaudy cloak that Lyall remembers hearing about. It's a wool cloak of a rich green color. The collar is adorned with purple feathers, and the inside is lined with purple fur. Wait. This is a ceremonial cloak that all kings wear when they are crowned. He's accompanied by 2 guards, who walk him up to the throne and then depart. Wow. Adrius slowly turns around to face the crowd. All eyes are upon him, and everyone is silent. The musicians have already begun to play their symphony, and it fills the hall with angelic noise. The suspense flows out over the audience, like a wave as they wait for Adrius to speak. It's thou, Adrius. Had not wished to be here, standing before you all on this day. He pauses shortly into his speech. His voice is a bit shaky, yet he continues. But the day has come, and I cannot lie by saying that I had not prepared for it. Every prince has this responsibility put on them since the day they are born. It terrifies us, it haunts us, and yet we endure. Not for our sake, or our fathers, but for the sake of the people. Our people. He gestures off to his side in the direction of the castle town. Today I speak for the pride of Lyre, the pride of this kingdom and its people. History has finally crossed paths with destiny, and we as a kingdom must band together as one, to ensure our survival and to take control. He clenches his fist with determination. Liz is looking upon him proudly, and everyone in the crowd is practically holding their breath. I have but one dream. One goal to strive behind. It is a promise to myself, and a sacred vow to all of you. I will not lead you astray. I will take action. There will be no compromise. We will not buckle, break, or yield in the face of those who mean to put us down. We as a kingdom will dig our hooves in and push back. You will give me all you have, and in return, I will give you everything. His voice wavers a bit, but he keeps going. I will ensure that our kingdom prospers, that I will make no excuses. I am not a man of hollow promises. This is my vow. I, Adrius Agian, son of Raynar Agian, swear before the lands of Tygren and all their splendor, that I will leave this kingdom greater than I found it. Let the higher gods bear witness. We will persevere. After taking a moment of pause, he looks down and nods to the person in the cloak. They begin to speak towards him in a soft voice that somehow echoes throughout the hall. Adrius Agian, son of Raynar Agian and Elena Agian, rightful ruler of the Lyrian throne. You proclaim today that you will protect the people of Lyre and guide them towards a better future. Are you prepared to follow and fulfill the responsibilities of a true monarch by keeping the peace, upholding the law, and administering justice? There's a short pause before he confirms. I will. A hooded figure slowly holds out the pillow. Liz steps forward and takes the crown. She raises it up to place on his head. I hereby pronounce you King Adrius Agian, ruler of Lyre and one of the Holy Triad. The crown is placed upon his head and Liz steps back. May his rule be long and prosperous. Throne room erupts in applause. Lyall claps among them, but notices something. Oh my god. Adrius could rarely be caught in a good mood, but an even rarer occurrence was to see him cry. These were not tears that would be shed after witnessing something beautiful. No, they were the tears of a proud leader. They were not tears of joy. Part 2. Adrius. Guys, I'm lightheaded. I don't know. This scene was pretty emotional. We get to play as little baby Adrius. The rest of the day moves by dreadfully slow. Adrius sits on his father's throne, stiff and uncomfortable. He knows that he belongs here, but it doesn't feel right. It's been his destiny since he was born, but achieving it in this way was not how he wanted it. Looks around the room, his eyes dancing around at the people that fill it. Leaves softly fall down from the overgrown trees above to land among the crowd.
This is interesting, because we're getting, like, Adrius's direct perspective. And in the context of Adrius possibly being one of the, like, murder subjects of his father, unlikely as it is, us getting Adrius's direct perspective would give an opportunity for the narrator to sort of, like, spoil the mystery if Adrius was the killer, since the narrator is sort of privy to, like, Adrius's thoughts. So that means the narration would either purposely avoid narration about Adrius and his thoughts that would, like, purposely, like, implicate him as the killer, or Adrius just isn't the killer, and we would know this because the narrator never, like, implicates them as such, or something. I don't know. Moving on. Leaves softly fall down from the overgrown trees above to land among the crowd. Some of them he recognizes from the village. Business owners and shopkeepers. Some of them are wealthy traders. Everyone else is just noble lords and ladies from the rest of Lyre. Their extravagant designs on their clothes contrast the muted color scheme that seems to be so popular with this part of the land. That crafty feline from Dry sticks out like a sore thumb amongst the crowd in his bright green coat. It's not hard to, though. Almost more than half the room is empty by now. Nobles came up to the throne but one by one and wished him a long and prosperous rule, shaking his hand and bowing. He'd say he enjoyed this little bit of social interaction, but right now that's the last thing he wants. The amount of emotions he's been keeping bottled up these past 2 days have been taking a toll on him. Right now he just wishes he could be alone. To his right is Elizabeth. She's leaning against one of the walls, arms down by her side with a dull expression upon her face. Even Adrius could understand why she always looks so bored with everything. She noticed him glancing in her direction and approaches. Something wrong? Isn't it obvious? Adrius. She somehow manages to throw him a look of both understanding and irritation at the same time. I apologize. No, it's okay. You've been through a lot lately. It's not that. Just tired of being surrounded by all these people. Turns towards her. Forgive me, but I'm not in the best state of mind right now. That's okay. Understand how these things can be a bit emotionally draining. If you want, I can take over from here. Most everyone is gone now, and the after party will start in a bit. It's best you go and prepare for that. That's true. He adjusts the crown on his head. It was professionally fitted for him, but still a bit big. I suppose I could let you take over. Don't think there's really much to do from here. If I were to stay, it would probably just be me sitting here and watching as everyone talks with each other. He stands from his throne and rests his hand on the armrest. I know that your position as War Minister is being tested right now. The future isn't looking too bright. But in order to achieve my dream, we'll need to play it smart. Of course. I'll offer my advice whenever I can. Sometimes Adrius wonders why his father even had an advisor. To him, it seems like he treated everyone as a consultant. Your advice is welcome. At least I'll have someone older than myself for an advisor. Yes, I suppose. It's something that always bothered me about Father. What's that? Mean no offense by this, but why did he choose you as an advisor? Given it's usually standard to have someone much older than oneself to advise you on these matters. She at first seems confused, but then equips that smirk she always has. Your father never saw it that way. He once told me that wisdom and age aren't everything. He valued the youth of our generation. Said that our outlook on life and untainted experiences were what this world needed in order to achieve a brighter future. All of that along with the king who chose to listen to the right people. Adrius taps a leaf on the ground with his hoof while listening to Elizabeth. She leans forward, looking into his eyes with her hands behind her back, as if to get his attention. You believe that advice could be found anywhere? Trust me, growing up he had plenty of old and wise men, and women teaching him everything he knew.
But as he got older, he searched for a different point of view, choosing people he trusted to lead a good example, whether young or old. As she says this, Adrius glares out into the crowd and spots Lyall. He's talking with another wolf, a local baker from the looks of it. They finish their conversation, Lyall heads out into the hall. Adrius steps away from the throne, looking at Lyall. Again, Lyall is supposed to follow up with Leaf after this, but since we are now occupying Adrius's perspective, I guess we might not get to see. We might not get to see Lyall and Leaf have their conversation about whatever Leaf discovered about Richter, which is kind of mean from the narrator, but I suppose we'll have to see. Adrius steps away from the throne, still looking at Lyall.
Not everyone has.
Adrius, please don't. I just want to talk with him. He snaps his fingers, signaling the two guards standing by the side door to follow him. They quickly rise from their slumped-over positions and follow behind him. Adrius walks down the steps and heads straight down the green carpet, people stepping out of his way and bowing. He pays them no attention, his eyes trained on that bastard as if he had tunnel vision. Ever since that night, he's been wanting to confront him alone. Lyall's been sulking about ever since, as if it was his father that was murdered. Oh yes, he must be so conflicted. Adrius exits the throne room and turns the corner, looking down the hall. He spots Lyall, moving down the corridor, his tail swishing left to right in an almost rhythmic way, causing his cape to flutter side to side. He's not going in the direction of his room, though.
Dog!
He slumps his shoulders and turns around slowly with a look of annoyance.
King Adrius.
Many times must I beg you not to call me that?
That's what dogs do, though, right? They beg.
The guards stand behind Adrius now, their faces expressionless and their gaze straight ahead.
I suppose.
Anyway, what do you want? He says this with a tone of indignation. Adrius fiddles with his shoulder cape as he speaks.
Oh, it's nothing.
I just wanted to speak with you about everything that's happened, personally. These past few days have been rather busy. Lyall straightens himself out a bit.
Yes, they have.
Really sorry about what happened. To lose one's father is truly a terrible thing. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Adrius grips his shoulder cape a bit tighter in his fist. He's been hearing several different variations of that phrase all week. None of them have felt genuine except for his, which irks him the most. Yes, thank you for your kind words. That's not what I wanted to talk about. Lyall slumps down a bit more. His shoulders are as low as they can be. Oh. Yes, I'm sure you saw this coming, but I wanted to talk about your assignment. Guarding the traitor and all that. He jumps at the statement.
He didn't do it.
Yes, I know that you believe with all your heart that he wasn't the one to do it. But, can't you see that he's lying to you? Lyall is silent, glaring at him with those wolven eyes.
He wouldn't lie to me.
Really? How do you know that? He goes to speak, hesitates, then continues.
Because I know him. Better than you, at least.
Oh, of course. Adrius rolls his eyes at this notion.
You silly dog.
You barely know him, and I'm assuming the worst about him with strong evidence. I barely know him. You've only known him for, let's be generous and say a month. And yet you act like you know him enough to assume he is perfectly innocent. Those two don't really seem comparable, do they? Lyall's lip quivers a bit before making an irritated expression. Quickly turns around and begins to walk in the opposite direction.
I've had enough of this conversation. It's been fun, but
You're going to visit him right now, aren't you? He staggers a bit with his footsteps and turns around while walking.
No, I'm actually just...
You love him, don't you? Lyall then stops in his tracks completely. After all he's done? He stands there with his mouth agape, clearly thinking of how to respond. Adrius enjoys the way people have to tread on glass while speaking with him. You will be a sadist. One little slip-up and they're putty in his hands. Finally, he speaks. I don't really know what you're talking about. Oh, but you do. I can see it in those big eyes of yours. Adrius steps forward with his hands behind his back, leaning in a bit. Are you sure he's not just leading you on? If I recall, it's happened before in the past. Lyall visibly clenches his fist. That was different. Adrius crosses his arm over his chest and nods. Yes, of course. Only you would know. Richter is different. Ah, so you do love him. Lyall turns to walk away. Really, I must be. Tell me, did you fall head over heels for him before, or after he fucked you? Shut up, Adrius. Adrius doesn't move from his spot, but the two guards behind him flinch a little as Lyall lets his emotions get the better of him. I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that. For your sake. Lyall realizes that he did just bark. Lyall realizes what he did. Guys, I can't read anymore. Lyall realizes what he just did and backs down, his tail tucked between his legs. I'm sorry, Don't apologize, you fool. I'm going to make one thing perfectly clear, do you understand? Yes. You're not to visit him anymore. I'm sorry? Richter, I don't want you seeing him. I can't have your emotions interfering with this trial. You need to understand what's at stake here, Lyall. I understand what's at stake here. You need to understand that something crazy is going on. He didn't kill Raynor, and whoever did it is probably still lurking around. And they might be out for your head. Adrius holds up a hand, not wanting to hear any more of this nonsense. That may be so, but this is the safest option right now. I'm giving you an order, Lyall. If I catch you in that dungeon again, I'll have you punished. With that, Lyall backs away with a solemn expression on his face. His tail is limp between his legs. As you wish. He turns and sulks away. Good dog. I'll tell him you said hi. Is Adrius gonna see Richter? I'm excited to see Adrius see Richter. Adrius throws his cape to the side and turns in the other direction. Come. The guards behind him quickly turn and follow him, trying to keep up with his fast pace as he walks down the corridor. Guys, I know Adrius sucks, but in this chapter, in this past scene, I don't know, he's kind of become one of my favorite characters. I don't know, he was always kind of my favorite character, but like, I don't know, he's cute. Adrius is cute. Adrius isn't even mad at Lyall. Lyall's loyalties to this kingdom are far too strong for him to break faith. But he can't let his emotions influence this trial. Descending the staircase, he reaches the bottom and turns around the corner. More stairs lead him down into the depths of the castle. It becomes increasingly more chilly with each step he takes. The floor is damp and cold, along with the walls. Finally, they reach the bottom, long hallway with cells lining the left side. It smells like spring water. There's a guard posted at the entrance. His eyes are tired and his body is slumped against the wall. He sees Adrius and instantly straightens up. Stay. The guards behind Adrius stand by the door to the stairwell as he continues through the tunnel. He always hated it down here. He came down here once to play as a child and let his imagination get the better of him. For the next couple of years, he was deathly afraid of these dungeons. Playing in the gardens was much more preferable. So what happened? Adrius came down here to play, and then he got spooked somehow? What spooked him? His mother enjoyed chasing him through the bushes, and would even help him climb trees. She always had a few gowns that were covered in grass stains. Eventually, those just became her gardening clothes. Why is he remembering this now? He's been unintentionally thinking of childhood memories a lot lately. Given current events, it would make sense that they constantly try to breach the walls of his mind. Can't let those memories get to him, though. Not now. For what it's worth, he doesn't have a single worry when it comes to ruling. Whatever happens will happen, but as long as it's within his control, he'll prevail. He has to. As long as he keeps pushing through, no matter the struggle, he'll reach that goal. Paul stretches into a dim horizon, almost bending. Each cell he passes, he looks inside to try and spot him. With each empty cell, he grows more and more concerned that somehow he escaped. That would be impossible, and stupid. After a few minutes, he reaches the last cell and looks inside. Are we gonna get a Richter model? Are we gonna see a Richter model? At first, he half expected it to be empty, but this was not the case. Is thou Richter? Thou Richter. There he is. He's just sitting there on the dirty floor, slouching his back against the wall. His eyes are distant and far away, as he stares off into the empty space. It's almost like he's looking at nothing. It's only been a few days. He can't have gone insane already. Along with all of this, he isn't decently dressed. All he's wearing right now is his undershirt, trousers, and a pair of socks.
Already lost it, have we?
Upon hearing his voice, Richter turns and looks at Adrius. His eyes are sullen, and his face lacks almost all emotion. His pupils are a deep shade of purple, which causes Adrius a moment of confusion. He shrugs this off, having never paid attention to his eye color before. Wonders if that's normal for humans. Not yet. He shifts his legs slightly, adjusting himself. I imagine that upsets you. Not really. Doesn't make me feel anything. Just knowing you're down here is the only assurance I need. Well, it's been fun talking to you then. Nice crown. Goes back to staring at the floor. Adrius is finding it harder and harder to keep his cool. His anger has reached its boiling point.
If you think I'm gonna be dismissed by someone sitting in a cell, then you truly have gone mad.
Richter sighs, strumming his fingers on his leg. I know why you came down here. You're looking in the wrong place, though. You didn't do it.
Of course you didn't.
He says this in a sarcastic tone.
Richter, I didn't come all this way down here to debate whether you did it or not.
I don't need to. Why did you come down here? What more do you want from me? What more can you do to me?
Nothing, really. Only justice can get me what I want. Your nobility, as fake as it is, grants you a bit of safety down here. Not to mention, if we don't go about this right, it could start a war. Punishing you before the trial would cause problems, but you already know that. Just want to make sure you're suffering.
Richter smirks for just a second, before bringing his face back down to its original expression. He says something under his breath. No, I don't think I can say that.
What was that?
Nothing. Just talking to myself. Guys, these characters have the worst dynamic in fiction. I love it. It's delicious.
Okay. Oh, I should mention this before I forget. Your manservant won't be seeing you anymore.
Richter looks up, his attention being pulled in Adrius' direction as if it were tugged on a rope. What?
Yes, I've forbidden him from coming down to comfort you during your stay here.
Richter glares at him with a look of confusion. Manservant? Comfort me? What are you talking about?
There's no need to hide it. Everyone knows about your scandalous relationship.
Richter lets out a little sigh of defeat. That's not surprising. Can't say I didn't see this coming.
Honestly, I understand wanting to make as many friends as possible as a foreign political figure, but don't you think this is taking it a little bit
too far? Guys. Someone needs to stop Adrius. I can't stand Adrius.
Adrius whispers this at him in a mocking tone, and Richter slumps more into the wall. Ha ha. Shut up. First, Adrius is taken aback by this miniature outburst, but he quickly regains control. It's no way to talk to a king, is it? Then again, you wouldn't know much about showing respect to kings. This is the one who constantly disrespected his father at every turn. Adrius shrugs this comment off, knowing it isn't true. He runs his hand along one of the cell bars, staring daggers at Richter. You think you are the same, don't you? What? You believe that we are similar? Comparable? No. We are very different. The difference between the two of us is simple, but I'll dumb it down for you. Get on with it. You've played chess, right? I assume you do. It's a common strategic game in Erin. If you're going to make a chess analogy in front of me, it better be good. Who am I kidding? Even if it's bad, I'll still get amusement out of it. Quiet. As I was saying, the difference between the two of us is that you see this as a game. To you, it's all a board of pieces to be moved, altered, and shifted. Pawns to be played, such as our dear friend Lyall. How's a knight? You know, the horsey piece? And kings to be checked. Adrius interrupts him to continue his comparison. For you, the game can be shelved. You and the fools that get to follow you with tails wagging can get away from all this. Wait. You and the fools that you get to follow... Wait. That you get to follow you. You and the fools that you get to follow you with tails wagging can walk away from all this. And even if you lose... Gestures to the cell Richter is currently sitting in. It won't matter in the end. It won't be remembered. You won't be remembered. Richter stares into his eyes with curiosity. I never had that option. If I lose, if my piece on the board is checked, then I will forever be remembered by it. If I fail, nobody will forget it. Adrius backs away to leave and looks at Richter. Hope you take solace in that. Adrius turns on his hoof and strides away. Before he can be out of earshot, however, Richter approaches the door and retorts. What if I was never even your opponent? Adrius turns back around in the direction of the door, the cell. Then the game is truly lost. And with that, he continues down the long tunnel. I thought we were going to seamlessly transition back into Richter's perspective there, but I guess we're still following Adrius around for a little bit longer. Once he reaches the beginning, he turns to the guard standing at the entrance. There will be no further visits from Sir Reed. This is an order that needs to be relayed to the rest of the guards stationed down here. Am I clear? The guard salutes in response. Good. Adrius turns to the guard standing by the stairs. Walks past them, snapping his fingers. The guards follow behind him, their clattering armor echoing throughout the tunnel, till all that's left is silence. Damn. Adrius is kind of a bad bitch. Part 3 Richter? Guys, I didn't know there was going to be a part 3. Part 3 Richter. What could possibly happen? What could possibly happen involving Richter? Have I mentioned that this game has a very cool soundtrack? Has a very good soundtrack. Standing by the cell door, I wait to hear until Adrius is out of earshot. I hear him mumble something about Lyall to one of the guards. He's really doing it. Damn it! I was trying my hardest to keep my cool while he was down here. I'm getting thrown off by the first-person narration because I had gotten used to the third person. Especially since he caught me while I was in the mind's eye. Oh. I reach down, grabbing clumps of straw in my fists, proceed to throw them to the side in a fit of rage. I get on my knees and bury my face into my hands, hunching over and grimacing into my palms. Knowing I would still get to see Lyall while I'm down here was the only thing keeping me going. That and trying to figure out this mess. It's Tygren. Throwing a tantrum won't solve anything. Now all I have is this incessant voice in my head. Still sounds like they're talking to me through a wall, but it's getting easier. It certainly makes me feel better. Whisper this under my breath. For a time. If it makes you feel any better, I'm sorry that this happened to you. Oh please, you saw it coming. You know everything that's gonna happen. Not really. It's a bit more complicated than that. I stand up and walk over to my bed, sitting down on its hard surface. I wish I could warn you about all these things. Really, I do. Guiding my avatars is like taking care of a plant. A very annoying and needy plant. They constantly require things, and if I give them something wrong, they die. That's reassuring. I understand you miss him, but you can't let this sway your resolve. I know, I won't let it. I just wish I didn't have to be away from him. He's practically the only person I have left to talk to. Besides you, of course. I'm well aware. I lay down on my back, staring at the cracked ceiling. Do you feel as if you've grown dependent on him? No, it's nothing like that. It's not like I need him or anything. I just... well, shouldn't you know? Been watching this whole time. You know how I feel about him. It's no response at first. Do you love him? Of course. No. This isn't an interrogation. I don't doubt you. I'm asking right here, right now. Her voice becomes a bit more clear. Do you love him? Stare at the ceiling and wait before answering. They can probably read my thoughts or something. I know exactly what and he knows exactly what I'm gonna say. It seems impossible. Even irrational from an outside perspective, but... yes. I love him. Good. Use that. You can't let these things stop you or get in your way. Sit up from my resting position. You're right. Can't let this stop me. Just hope that Lyall is doing alright. You know if he's okay? There's no response. Damn, you're good. Please, I've been doing this for countless years. Learn from my mistakes. If you're going to get out of this, you're gonna have to do the same. I'm getting better. I've been practicing using the mind's eye to see into the past for a few days. I'm getting a little better at it, able to see different events here and there, but nothing specific. And it's all so far back that it almost has no relevance. You're not even close. Seeing into the past is one thing, but seeing something so recently that happened? That is a monumental task. I'll keep working at it. Good. Sit down on the floor and close my eyes, getting ready to enter the mind's eye again. Fortunately, time in the real world does pass, if I'm just having visions. Time only stands still outside when you enter the realm of the mind's eye. It's something like a sanctuary. Oh, sanctuary. My sanctuary. I don't really have anything specific in mind. Right now, I just want to practice. I need to focus, like Tygren taught me. Tygren. He's Tygren because he's a tiger. It takes a moment, but soon I feel as if I'm walking on air. Then the weightless feeling leaves my body, and I now feel as if I'm walking on solid ground. It's soft though. Grass? Whoa. Suddenly I feel warmth, and my eyes are open to a completely different place. Guys, for a second I was like, what if Richter gains the power to travel to the past in his own memories? What if he can travel to the past and view them from his own memories? But then I remembered, wait, that's just called remembering things, never mind. The body I'm living in right now feels different from Raynar's, but also feels the same. The scenery is definitely familiar though. There's no mistaking that this is the castle gardens. Some of the plants are different from what I personally remember, but everything else for the most part is the same. Feels like a warm summer day, but the breeze is strong. Birds take refuge in the trees and chirp to their heart's content. Whoever this is, they seem to be looking around a lot. It's as if they're searching for something. It's not a frantic search, though. At one point, my vision is lowered, and I can see the rest of their body. It's a female's body, which throws me off at first, but for some reason, it doesn't feel strange. One would think this scenario would be weird, but I don't feel anything strange. It's as if I've lived in this body my whole life. I found that after a while it starts to feel that way. The more times I've done this, the more I start to feel at home. I take my mind off the philosophy of the situation, and instead try to wrap my head around who she is. She's wearing an emerald green dress made of a light cloth. It reaches the ground in the back, but is lifted up in the front, allowing me to see her hooves. Hooves? They're small and dainty, but walk steady and firm. The fur on her body is a light brown. Am I inside the mind of the queen? It's a possibility. Pretty sure that this person is a deer. She continues to scan the area, leaning over to look behind bushes. Where are you? She speaks in a soft, chiding manner, and it feels strange having this voice feel as if it's coming from my own mouth. I don't think I'll get used to that anytime soon. She looks up into a tree. Through the leaves I can see someone. Guys, this might be the cutest creature I've ever conceived of in like the past half a decade. This is the cutest creature in all of existence. He's infinitely adorable. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's a young fawn. He's perched in the tree, looking down at her mother with a smiling face. There's no antlers on his head, and his cheeks are covered in little spots. His eyes are big, and the pupils shine like amber. It's Adrius. He's very young, though, about 6 or 7. Guys, don't think it, and don't say it. Don't think it, don't say it. His clothes are nice, and the shirt seems to be a size too big. Lets out a giggle, and his tense body relaxes. It's as if he thought he couldn't be seen if he was absolutely still. This also must definitely be his mother. She crosses her arms, and I can feel the smile curling on her lips. Found you. Okay, so what does baby Adrius sound like? Do I have to make a new Adrius voice for baby Adrius?
That's not fair.
His voice is high in pitch, but soft.
Oh, and why's that?
He goes to point at her, but quickly brings his arm back to the tree limb he's holding onto.
You were peeking.
She laughs a sweet and happy laugh while shrugging her shoulders.
Was not. I just got lucky.
Haha. He says this with an exaggerated attempt at sarcasm. You have to admit, it took me quite a while. She leans against the tree he's in.
Yeah, it did take you a long time. I almost starved.
He says this in a dramatic way, how a child usually would when exaggerating something. It's honestly surprising seeing him full of so much joy. I assumed he wasn't completely awful, especially as a kid, but it's nice to see him smiling. Closest I've ever got to seeing that was a smirk.
Can you hide this time and I seek?
She steps away from the tree and nods. Yes, sweetie. You can come down from there now. He looks down and a sliver of fear glints in his eyes.
I can't.
Got up there this time without my help. Surely you can get down on your own. Peers over the branch again and shakes his head.
No.
She lets out a sigh and holds out her arms. Okay, jump down and I'll catch you.
From that far away?
He shakes his head more. Trust me? He hesitates for a moment, and then does a weak leap from the tree. Not before plucking a wildflower from one of the limbs. He lands in her arms, and she catches his weight, swinging him around a little bit before setting him on the ground. Thanks, Mom. Small Adrius hops up and down a bit before running over to someone by one of the garden walls. I immediately recognize who's by the wall. Ah! It's Papa Raynar! It's Papa Raynar! Raynar is tending to a small bed of flowers. Oh my gosh. Guys, I don't know. Lyre might be the best visual novel. What chapter is this? This is chapter
9, right? This is Lyre chapter 9. This might be the best chapter in the visual novel. This chapter is pretty good. Did I read that? Raynor is tending to a small bed of flowers. He's wearing a cotton shirt and a leather apron. It's covered in dirt and water, but he still looks as regal as ever with his crown sitting upon his head. If I could feel my own insides right now, they would be twisting up into a knot. Seeing them again sends a rush of sorrow through my mind. But then I sense Elena's emotions. They're warm and fuzzy.
Father, did you see it?
Raynor probably didn't see it, but he turns around and ruffles his head for her. Guys, what was the Raynor voice? I don't know.
Of course I saw a little fuzzball. You weren't even scared, were you?
Adrius looks off to the side in embarrassment.
A little bit.
Raynor looks down at him with a warm smile.
That's okay. Being afraid comes with being brave.
I got you this.
He holds out a little hand, and the crumpled wildflower can be seen laying in it.
Wow, look at that. It's even my favorite color.
He carefully picks the flower up by the stem and holds it between his fingers.
Since it's so important, I'll put it up here.
He places the flower between his ear, next to his crown. Elena picks up her dress and starts to walk towards them.
How do I look?
Adrius struggles to hold back laughter.
Silly.
Yeah, I probably do.
Adrius points at a few flowers, and Raynor gets a little bit excited and starts to talk about them. He seems much happier and energetic, compared to the calm and collected king I'm used to. Before the queen can get any closer, my vision starts to fade. All of the scenery gets pulled away from my eyes as if it's being carried down a river. Back in my cell, sitting exactly where I was before. There's a commotion down the hall, and I can barely make out the voices.
You get distracted too easily.
Shh, I'm trying to listen. I lean a bit closer to the door, trying to hear better. State your business, please.
I'm here to see Lord Richter. Asleep!
Hearing a small voice is more welcoming than I thought it would be.
I wish to speak with him about something.
Very well. Do you need help with that? I can hear Leaf grunt slightly.
No, thank you. I should be able to manage.
If I listen closely, I can hear the pitter-patter of his taloned feet echo down the hall as he gets closer and closer. I get up from the floor and go to sit on the end of the bed, by the door. Soon Leaf comes into view, and I can see that he's been carrying an old book. Even to me, this book would be large, but for him it's monstrous. It's bound in leather that's practically falling apart, and some of the pages are falling out of the book, crammed in between other pages. He's holding it in his arms and sets it down with a big thump.
Hello.
He's looking down at the ground, and I can tell he's a bit nervous. Hello. What did you want to talk about?
Oh, I spoke with Lyall a little while ago.
About what?
I'll get to that in a minute. You didn't actually kill the king, right?
You're seriously asking if I would kill your king?
I just wanted to hear it from you, okay?
Okay.
You have to admit, it's not really looking to be in your favor. Lyall managed to convince me. But if I still believed you did it, would you blame me?
Brings up a good point. We had our chats from time to time, but I had every right to assume I had done it, given how it happened. No, I wouldn't. Especially given the circumstances and everything that happened.
Well, I believe that you weren't the one to do it. There's something wrong with it all. But enough of that. I've been doing a lot of research on those headaches you've been getting, along with that weird dream.
Ah, yes. This should help. Or not. These books are usually heavily inaccurate and filled with harsh exaggerations. I try to tune Tygren out as Leaf opens the book to the page he had bookmarked. That's good.
Still do get headaches from time to time. The constant noise doesn't help. Really? It's so quiet down here, though. Not all the time. Oh, okay. Well, you were saying that you had a full recount of the death of our queen, correct? Yes. Along with the fact that it was from Raynar's perspective? Yes, it was from his perspective. Is there anything that says how to stop the headaches? No, there isn't. I can stop those for you easily with the right medicine. I found something very interesting, though. I searched in the library for hours and eventually found this book. It's old and dusty and was crammed between some of the other books on the high shelf. At first I almost skipped right over it, but I realized this might have some answers. It's a bit religious though, so bear with me. Let's hear it then. Okay. You're familiar with the Supreme Being, Tygren? See? All these silly titles they come up with. Somewhat. Our land was named after them, right? Yes, well, they were an ancient god that the people of this land used to worship back when religion was one of the pillars of our society. Their influence was strong for a long time, but after a while, faith was broken. There are only a few people who still worship them today, and any churches we would have had are most likely crumbling ruins. I've heard that there's one still intact. You can visit it somewhere in Dries. Drisians are very obsessed with preservation. Leave? Sorry, I always ramble. My point is, they believe that on a very rare occasion, someone would be born with the ability of retrocognition. Yeah? Like seeing the past? Yes. It was said to be a blessing by Tygren themselves. A way to help living beings guide themselves to a brighter future. It says here that those with this ability can see past events in dreams through the perspective of others with proper training. They can even see these events while conscious, and can sometimes view said events as an outsider. Skims over the pages with his gloved wing. There's not too much information on this, though. There's something about witchcraft and other nonsense. Something about a mind's eye. A few mentions of people with this ability being executed, but nothing is well documented. That last one isn't connected, I promise. The ability hasn't shown up in a very long time, though, and seems to be lost in time. Lord Richter, I believe that those dreams you were having weren't just dreams. Don't let your dreams be dreams. It seems you were having visions. You might just be the next avatar for Tygren. Hearing him say this lifts a weight off my chest, knowing that I might not be crazy. The weight is immediately put back down, though, once I realize what this can mean. Can't trust anyone with this information right now. If word gets out, it could cause problems. You want my advice? Play it off. They're right. Leaf, I appreciate your enthusiasm. I've come to the conclusion that it was just a dream. Nothing more. Yes, but isn't it a bit strange? You're a man of science. You really believe that I have some magical ability to see into the past? Leaf looks at me through his goggles with an impatient gaze. There's something else this old book mentions. It mentioned the fact that any time they look into the past, their eyes change to a different color. He leans in and stares at me with his beady little eyes. That's odd. Your eyes are green. I recall they were always that color. Oh, thank God. Thank God indeed. You're welcome for that. I may not be able to do much, but I know what I'm doing. Either that, or it's just pure coincidence they would be green after that last vision. Maybe you're right. I just thought I would come down here and entertain you with the idea. Lyall seems skeptical too. Also, here. He hands me a small glass jar full of what looks like pebbles. I'm not supposed to give you this, but it's my job to make sure people are healthy. Also, I trust you. Better not take advantage of that fact. Take the vial from him. Thank you. You're welcome. Take one anytime you get a headache, and no more than one. Also, hide them. He goes and picks up his book. He struggles to lift it up, but eventually straddles it in both arms. I'll try to visit again soon. Before he walks off, he turns around. One last thing. Lyall says he loves you. He wishes he could be down here with you more than anything. He turns around and starts walking away. Bye, Leaf. Goodbye, Richter. Aw. His footsteps trail off into the distance, and I'm again left alone in silence. The sun is beginning to set over the mountains, and I feel a chill rush over my body. My clothes are damp and cold, so I had to take off the bulk of them. It's better to wear as little clothing as possible when they're wet like this. I pick up my coat and hang it on the bars of the cell door. After spreading it out to dry easier, I sit down on my bed and lean back. Staring at the ceiling, I try to concentrate and gather myself. Soon everything fades into nothing. Then the swirling colors flow into my vision. The ground ripples beneath my feet like a rushing current. Tygren, however, is nowhere to be found. Can you come out? I'd rather talk to you face to face. The large chimera god appears before me in a shimmering flash. The bright green flames see on top of their fur and float up into the air. You don't trust the bird? I don't trust anyone right now. Not with this, at least. I was going to tell Lyall, but that won't be happening anytime soon. Make a reassuring gesture with her hand. I, for one, believe that you are wise to not trust anyone with this. For now, it is best to keep it to yourself. You think he suspects it anyway? I know whether he suspects it or not. But for your amusement, I'll pretend I have no outside knowledge. I think he might suspect you're my avatar. They say this like they're walking on eggshells. So he does. He does a deep grumbling sigh. Get some rest. You've done enough practice for today. Was he right about the persecutions and all that? You have the ability to find out for yourself, but you'll have to try later. Please try to sleep. You need the energy. Fine. Leaving is much easier than when I arrived, and before I know it, I'm back in the cell. Laid down onto the bed and spread out, gathering the rest of my body as close to myself as possible to keep warm. Closing my eyes, my exhausted body relaxes, and I drift off into a deep sleep, thinking about all the things I've seen in past memories today. Hopefully they'll be of some use. I just need to practice. Chapter 9, Day 26. 8, that says 8. Day 28. Do we just keep going? I think we just keep going. Guys, we need to finish Lyre soon. I think we keep going. I think we keep going. It doesn't feel like I got as much sleep. It doesn't feel like I got as much sleep as I'd hoped. As I slowly wake up, I slide my legs off the gritty stone bench. The cold floor of the cell sends a shock through my body, but I'm too exhausted to jolt up from my relaxed position. One would think that I would be used to this by now, but I don't think I'll ever get used to it. Waking up like this isn't normal for me at all, and it will definitely take some getting used to. It could definitely be worse, though. I'm positive that it's way colder out there than it is in here. It's weird waking up and not hearing birds chirping or anything like that. There's almost no noise outside of the window. The wind is absent, and I can't hear any of the trees rustling. If I pay attention, I can hear a little bit of commotion coming from the city. Everyone must be doing their daily routine. I imagine Adon is getting ready for the day and making a racket, getting all of his commissions prepared. Charlotte is probably getting her day started at the bakery too, prepping all kinds of food. John is most likely learning more things from her about the trade, just making sure the kitchen doesn't fall apart. Thinking about this causes my stomach to twist and shrink. I'm surprised I even remember their names. Only met and talked with them for a few minutes. Usually I forget someone's name the second they tell me it, but this is different. Here in Lyre, everyone is so much more interesting and unique. Nobody feels like another face in the crowd. I guess it's just because I'm not used to living here. Sit up and slouch over, staring at the floor. My reflection stares back at me and I sigh. Wonder what they think of me now. They probably believe that I really did kill the king. Feel awful if I ever had to look at them in the face again. Visions of those nobles staring at me with disgusted faces on the winter solstice suddenly invade my mind. Too many people here hide behind a smile. Can't say the same for the villagers in the city, but I felt more comfortable around them. Even if I enjoy what I do, I feel like I'm constantly around the wrong crowd. Sometimes I wonder what it would be like to just walk away from all of it. Go live somewhere nice and quiet among people who are simple and kind. Okay. Ignore that. I don't really know what I would do, but being away from all this would be enough for me. Definitely want to get out more. Probably take early walks in the crisp morning air. Richter? Her voice causes me to jump a bit. My body leans back against the wall in a stiff manner. I really wish you wouldn't scare me like that. Sorry, I was getting so tired of listening to your ramble. I really hate the fact that they can hear everything I think, but I've slowly realized there's no use in complaining. I wish that they shared the same sentiment. You should get used to it. Believe me, I thought I was. This snarky tone makes me roll my eyes in a tired way, which is something I hope they see. Hear them chide me in a deep voice. You should really start practicing. The thought of practicing using the mind's eye makes me wish I could go back to sleep, even on this hard bed. I just woke up. Could you give me a minute? Right, of course. As taxing as it is, practicing with the mind's eye is one of the few ways I can cure boredom while I'm in the cell. In here, I can use it as a form of escapism. I can go to all these different places, have all these different experiences. Can't really allow myself to get too carried away with it, though. To remember my main goal. I have to practice so that I can be strong enough to see into the more recent past. I need to see it. I need to use it to see who killed Raynar. It seems impossible given that the trial could come out of nowhere. Not only that, but just knowing who the killer is won't save me. I need to use that knowledge to prove my innocence. Most importantly, I need to use it to prove who did it and have them face justice. I'll need time to think and figure it out. Relay information to people that can help. I can't do all of this the day before the trial. If only I could see Lyall. It would be so much help with that. Stand up from my sitting position, begin to place around the cell, careful to step on dry ground. Now that I think about it, I've been practicing a lot. Maybe I could try figuring out who killed Raynar. Maybe I could try figuring out who killed Raynar. He's ready? He's ready. Richter decides he's ready, and he's ready to progress the plot. It's no harm in trying, I guess. Wrong. Another abrupt word from Tygren causes me to stop in my tracks. There is a severe amount of harm in trying. How? I'm gonna have to try eventually, aren't I? You just need to trust me. You aren't ready yet. Something like that takes a lot of practice, skill, and focus. With luck, you'll be able to get to that point in no time. Until then, you need to start smaller. Hearing them say all of this angers me slightly. I've trusted them so far, but I always have this feeling in the back of my head that they're hiding something from me. They probably know this is how I feel, but I'm not about to bring it up with them. The fact that they can't tell me everything makes me even angrier. It doesn't seem right. Let out a sigh of defeat. Fine. I'll trust you, but you'd better not give me a reason not to. I can try. Sit down on the floor, crossing my legs and slouching over. You always have to have the last word, I guess. Staring into one of the puddles, I can see the reflection of the window. Dim sunlight shines into the room, giving everything a chilling glow. Is there anything in particular I should start with? That's your choice, but I would be a bit more imaginative. Lately, your visions have been a bit too personal. They've also been based off of recent experiences or confrontations. And there's something wrong with that? Somewhat. You need to try and test your boundaries. Reach out beyond the horizon, take hold of a memory or feeling. It could be an experience you've always wanted to have, or something lived by someone you met a long time ago. Something near and dear to your heart. They pause to take a breath. Or something new. Visions like this, they're like fuel for my avatars. Press my finger into the dirt on the floor and draw a line. Is there a reason why this happens? It just helps. Wipe the dirt off my finger and lean back. Okay, I'll try. Feel a warmth run through my body as I relax and concentrate. I try to think about home. The sunny days and tall white towers. Rolling hills by the cliffs and sandy shores. Waves crashing against the stone walls of the docks. All the people who made an impact on my life. Memories of my past and things I've done. Sitting in the chair by the window with my mother, just talking with her. Watching the ships sail by. After a few seconds of closing my eyes and thinking about all these things, I feel as if I'm pulled away from my own body. I get the sense there's chaos all around me, yet for some reason my body can't feel a thing. I also feel like I'm floating. Or it's what I think it would feel like. It's truly indescribable. The feeling quickly fades as I'm thrown into a perilous scene. Who is this? A flash of lightning obscures my vision for a moment as everything unfolds. Heavy rain swirls around me as the sound of harsh wind drowns my senses. It looks like I'm spectating the scene of a ship at sea, surrounded by a terrible storm. Waves crash into the sides of the small ship, and sailors clamor around the deck. Some of them are being thrown all over the place by waves, crashing to the surface and flooding over the sides. Most of the sails have been rolled up as well. The ship looks old, too. It's nothing like the ones I see coming in and out of the harbor in Erin. It almost looks archaic. However, my body seems to be tethered to a single sailor. He's a monkey, with light fur that looks like it's been bleached by the sun. His skin is a dark pink color, too. Swinging around one of the ropes tied to a mast, looking around at everything going around him. His eyes are bright, as golden as the sun. Not really sure what's going on or what I'm witnessing, but I get this feeling that I can't look away. His tail curls tightly around the rope as his eyes dart into the eye of the storm. He's panting heavily, and keeps looking around at what's going on with worry in his eyes. There's a coiled rope being held by his foot. I always thought it was cool that monkeys could do that so well. Lightning strikes again, and the boom echoes throughout the deep abyss of the open ocean, casting a bright light among the clouds and across the rolling surface of it. One of the sailors from below yells up towards the mast. "Alverton! Get down from there, it's not safe!" The monkey looks down at him and yells back in a bellowing voice. "It's my job. You'll thank me if you go overboard." He gestures through the rope being held by his foot. "Just keep her going steady, and make sure you don't lose track of the eye." "Aye, we've got that covered." A wave rushes over the side and the sailor staggers a bit, but keeps a hold on the railing. Another sailor yells among the crew. "We should have never listened to you, you know. It's not safe to go this far out from home. We should have never left the shores." Alverton looks down with an annoyed face. "Save the lecture for when we're back in the clear, would you? It'll be worth it in the end with the haul we've made." "As far as I know, the haul you speak of probably fell overboard not too long ago, and I don't feel like joining it." Alverton tightens his grip on the rope and looks ahead with a determined gaze. "Just a bit further." He says this to himself, making it hard for me to hear. I float down around him a bit more, not really having control of the direction I'm going, but staying within the general distance of his figure. It's like I'm some sort of spirit. This is really weird. I thought I was supposed to experience these things from the perspective of others. Why am I not in the body right now? Tygren told me to test my boundaries, but I'm not sure if this has anything to do with what's happening. All the visions I've willingly had so far have been about people I've had some experiences with. And I feel some sort of connection with this monkey, even though I don't know him. Could he be a sailor from Erin I've run into before? It doesn't really seem likely given how old the ship looks, but it's the only explanation I can come up with. Maybe he was an old avatar. I snap out of my thoughts and go back to focusing on the scene playing out before me. He grips a simple-looking necklace that's tied around his neck on a string. Then it happens. There's this moment where everything seems calm. The noise from the rain is muffled, and the wind slows down slightly. A deafening boom claps all around me, and my vision goes away in an instant. Did lightning just strike the ship? My hearing comes back after a second as the wind whistles through my ears. I get this feeling of dropping, like I'm being dragged down by a heavy object. Or maybe it's like I'm taking a dive through the air, chasing something. Then, there's a heavy splash and a sudden decrease in speed. All noise is muffled, and it's almost eerily soothing, like closing a window on a rainy night. My eyes adjust to the darkness, and I can see the little particles floating around me, like dust swirling through the air. The ocean. Under the water's surface. Get a glimpse of the monkey's figure off in the distance. Lightning in the sky above dimly illuminates the water around us, casting rays of light that beam down into the dark void beneath. He's just floating there. It's probably completely still. The rope that was being gripped by his foot is gone. Probably lost to the tide, or still on the ship. I try to get closer to him, but I don't feel like I'm moving. Not liking where this is going. I can hear this ominous vibrating noise. Like an earthquake, but underwater. Ominous voices and noise echo around me. Fear creeps its way into my soul as I wait in the darkness. Holy. I jolt in my seated position, painfully throwing myself into the wall behind me, letting out a yelp. What's going on in there? A guard yells down the tunnel, sounding like he's pretty close. Nothing, I just slipped. I'm fine. There's a pause, then he throws his voice down the tunnel again. Just don't do it again. I hear his footsteps travel back up the corridor, and I stand up, resting my head near the window. Are you going to say something, or do I have to ask? Quickly whisper this under my breath in an annoyed tone. There's silence. It's a very long silence, and at first I think he didn't hear me. Then they speak up. There are just some things that I'm not allowed to explain to you. What the hell was that? Who was that? Why were you there? More silence. Look, I've been nice so far. I've been going along with all this knowing that I could very well be in a lot of trouble. The least you could do is be truthful with me. This gets them to speak up. I am being truthful with you. And it doesn't really feel like it. Hear them take a deep breath. Richter, please. I've already explained all this before. I'm held back from doing certain things. Saying certain things. It could cause a lot of trouble. It's not my place to give you knowledge, only the ability to seek it out yourself. Grip one of the rusty iron bars in my fist, running my other hand down my face. A little bit more facial hair prickles my hand than usual, reminding me how long I've gone without taking care of myself. Probably have a fully grown beard by the end of this. You just need to trust me. Grip the bars on the window harder. I'm really tired of hearing you say that. I have several reasons not to. Forgive me for being irrational, although I don't really see it that way, but you've been nothing but suspicious. You think I want to be? I don't know, but none of this is working in your favor. The book Leaf brought down said that people who have your power die. Is that what's gonna happen to me? Are you just gonna sit here to escort me into an early grave? No, I'm not. Who's Alverton? More silence as they ignore my question and try to change the subject. All will be revealed, I promise. Is he a past avatar? Someone whose mind you invaded long ago? You know that I can't answer. You know that I can't answer that. What were you doing there? There's a deep sigh and more silence. I really didn't want to believe it, but it feels like you're lying to me about something. Something really important. They don't answer. It's when I hear footsteps pacing down the tunnel.
They're light and sturdy sounding, like they're walking very fast. I back away from the window and sit on the ground in front of the door, leaning my back against the rough wall. We'll talk about this later. Say this under my breath so that whoever is coming doesn't hear me. It's a tough game I play, talking with Tygren while I have no privacy. The guards can't really hear my hushed whispers from here though, so it works for now. I could speak with them in my mind, but it takes a lot of getting used to. The footsteps get closer, and I can't help but get a little anxious. Hopefully it's not Adrius again, I'm here to patronize me even more than he already has. The repetitive noise doesn't sound like his hooves though. It's a sound I'm all too familiar with. The sound of someone wearing shoes. Steps slow to a casual walk, and then she comes to my view. It's thou still Liz? Thou still Elizabeth? Liz stands there in front of the cell door looking at me. She has this face that looks like she's trying to find what to say.
You look a lot better than I thought you would.
Thanks.
Sorry. Just the way Prince Adrius described you. He exaggerated a bit.
King Adrius. Yes. And how is our new king? My tone comes out a bit more dry than I wanted it to. She gives me a perplexed look. Can't tell if she's surprised I'm showing any hint of concern, or if she's shocked I had the gall to mock him in front of her.
He's obviously distraught and finding his own way to cope with it. But that's the thing. It's like he's still a prince. Nothing's really changed yet.
Yet. She throws her head back in an exhausted manner, and runs her hands through her auburn hair.
Why am I talking about this with you? I don't even know you, and you're suspecting of killing our king.
She leans back against the wall and looks down. I know that Lyall tried to convince you that I didn't do it. He also said that you even considered it.
What's of it?
Well, for the record, I didn't do it. She cocks an eyebrow at that remark. Why would you believe me? She throws her hands to her sides and looks at me incredulously.
I don't believe you. I believe Lyall. He's extremely loyal to this kingdom, and I know that he would never betray it. Even if he let his feelings get in the way. So if he trusts you, then that gives me reason to at least consider it a possibility.
Well, it's very nice to hear. Sadly, I don't think it'll help me. She lowers her head and exhales. Why have you come down here? She slumps against the wall slightly.
The first reason? I was curious. The whole situation seemed completely outlandish, and I had to see you for myself at least once before the trial.
What's the second reason? She lets out a sigh.
The trial.
Has the day already been decided?
Yes. The trial will take place 9 days from now.
9 days? I jolt up from my sitting position. The information hits me like an arrow through the back. No.
I know. Adrius wants it to happen at the earliest. This is just enough time for everything to be prepared, so it's quite literally happening as soon as possible. I'm really sorry, but I thought you should know.
Walk over to the stone bed and sit on it, leaning against the wall and looking up at the ceiling. Liz is no longer in my sight, but I can still feel her and hear her presence on the other side of the bars.
You okay?
I don't answer her at first.
You remember how I said that Raynor spoke very highly of you?
Yes. She takes a deep breath.
That was an understatement. He saw something in you that even I can't explain.
I hear her take a couple steps away.
If you truly didn't kill Raynor, then don't take that for granted.
She pauses, waiting for a response from me, but I don't give her one. My mind is racing with the idea that I only have 9 days to figure this out. What she said about Raynor resonates with me, though.
Take care of yourself, Lord Richter.
She walks down the tunnel, her footsteps fading away. After a while, silence fills the tunnel once more. The trial is only 9 days away. I have nothing to help me yet. Lyall's forbidden from seeing me, so I can't get his help either. I can't train any faster, and it feels like I'm getting nowhere.
Visions of Raynar cloud my mind as well. The thought of his true murderer never being unveiled makes me feel empty inside for some reason. The very possibility of that night's outcome swirls in my head like a hurricane. Only one thought stays focused in the center of the storm, though. How I could have prevented this from happening. What the hell am I gonna do? Only one option comes to mind. I need to at least try to figure out who actually killed him. It's the only way I can solve this in time. What did I tell you earlier? Tygren, I only have 9 days. Even you understand that it would take a miracle to get out of this, including the one that I already have. You need more practice. I have to try, Tygren. If I can't figure this out in time, I'm dead. You're not going to stop me from making this decision. I sit down on the floor and cross my legs. Closing my eyes, I can hear their voice get louder. Richter, I'm warning you. If you do this, you'll what? Chill runs down my spine. After I cut them off, they stop talking altogether. Then, he speaks up in a soft tone. I will not do anything. You, however, will regret this. For a moment, I considered their advice. Only for a moment, though. For the past 5 minutes, my life feels like it's rushed to a sudden stop. I'm at the top of the figurative stairs, and in front of me lies the inevitable. Sorry, Tygren, but I'm not risking my life on this. It's now or never. The entire presence of the cell implodes as I succumb to the feeling of the void. First, there's nothing. It's like I'm sleeping. Suddenly, sharp pains erupt throughout my body. Blow after blow sends me into a whirl of agony. My body feels like it's being ripped through all of reality as I know it. It's almost indescribable. My very existence is being torn in two as I delve into the past. Then, I'm falling. The black void doesn't let up as I'm thrown to the hard floor. I get the feeling of recovering from falling out of bed, but it's 100 times worse. This is all accompanied by loud crashing sounds. My whole body ruptures in on itself. The blurry darkness fades away as my eyes flicker open. Did it work? I feel like I'm slumped up against something, and I can only see the window a bit of a wall. I'm definitely in Raynar's body. I don't really get time to assess my surroundings, as a terrible pain strikes through his body. Nothing else matters in that moment, as my entire being is filled with all kinds of emotions and feelings. It's like someone took my insides and crushed them in their hands. My soul feels like it wants to cave in on itself, but the body I'm in just lays there. I can feel some sense of Raynar trying to get up, but the overwhelming amount of emotions and pain clouds that. Fear, anger, shock, sadness. Not to mention the unbearable suffering that works through my body like a wreathing snake. It's a hot, searing pain, like someone's holding a torch to my chest. I can feel the blood rushing down my chest in a thick, heavy stream. I've been cut and gashed before, but this is nothing like that. I want it to stop, but I can't let that happen. As much as I want this to be over right now, I have to see it through to the end. If I could feel my own heart, I'm sure it would be racing in my chest. Raynar certainly is. With every single beat, I can feel more blood gush out into the wounds in his torso. It's agonizing, but I need to keep going. Everything seems normal so far. Nothing twisted or blurry. It all feels as accurate as it could be on that night. He struggles to lift himself into a sitting position, but only manages to turn his head. He's letting out several pained gasps and sounds, like he's trying to say something, but it only comes out in mumbled noises. It's devastating. Can't help but feel sorry for him. And yet a deeper feeling eats away at my thoughts. Something worse than sorrow. Didn't deserve to die like this. His vision falters for a moment, but he manages to stay conscious. Outside the window, snow whirls by, wind beating against the glass. The shimmering aurora of the horizon peeks through the stormy clouds and casts an ominous green moonlight throughout the room. In that emerald light, I see them. A figure in a dark and shiny leather coat approaches me from the foot of the bed. The hood casts a shadow over their face, so I can't quite make out who they are. They have to show their face at some point though, so I hold on. They slowly walk towards the body slumped on the floor in front of them. They're covered in blood all over from the front of their body, and brandishing a long pointed dagger. Exact same from that night. Seeing the weapon that caused these wounds makes them hurt even more. The gnarled shape of the blade would make even the strongest man writhe in agony. Blood runs down to the base of the blade, and drips past the guard and onto the floor in front of them in dark puddles. None of the blood seems to be seeping into the clothing. It flows just right off in thick streams. They hold the tip of the blade close to their face as if looking at it, though I can't know for sure. Their hands start to shake slightly, but steadies as they turn and look at Raynar. I can't even see their eyes, but I can feel their vision piercing into my soul. Another strange thing is the fact that the curtains are flowing like there's a light breeze. But the window isn't open. The pain that was once unbearable is now slowly beginning to numb, as if Raynar's body lose its hold on life. The feeling is terrible. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Its vision is beginning to become more and more blurred, eyelids wavering. Kolua. Lightning strikes outside. Lightning strikes outside of the window, and I get a glimpse of their face illuminated in the contrasting light for just a moment. It's not enough to be able to tell who they are, but my eyes are slowly adjusting to the darkness. Their face looked human from what I saw. Here it is again. It's a male human, I'm certain of it. Not only that, but they look familiar too. But no, it's even more strange. I don't think I've met a human male in Lyre. Not well enough to recognize one for that matter. Something about this isn't right. It's hard to think with this excruciating pain shooting through my body, and all of the emotions overwhelming my senses. As I focus on trying to reorient myself, Raynar's eyes finally adjust to the darkness of the room. What I see next is true horror. No. It's me. I almost don't want to believe it. I don't even want to see it. But there I am, staring back at myself. I'd say it's like looking in a mirror, but it's far from it. Because when he stares back, he only sees a deer. And I can see it on his face. My face. This can't be real. He has a cold and analyzing gaze. Eyes shining a tense green. His warm skin looks pale in the dim moonlight. This isn't right. I know I didn't kill Raynar. This vision is wrong. Tygren was right. I should have listened to them. Kolua. Raynar's eyes finally give up, and I feel his body being drained of its life. Can't see anything, but I'm still there. The scene marches on around me. The doppelganger's presence moves behind Raynar, and then he's lifted up and forward by his antler. I can feel something cold being pressed to his neck. Then it drags across the fur and skin, going deeper and deeper. Scorching hot pain overwhelms my throat, followed by a sharp and unbearable jolt. No! My mind is torn out of Raynar, and I'm back in the cell. I'm laying on the ground in a fetal position, tears streaming down my face. They soak the ground beneath my head, and a bit of mud sticks to my face as I lift myself up. The pain in my chest is gone, but my heart is still racing. The only thing that hurts now is my head. It's several times worse than any of my more recent headaches. Constant pounding against the side of my head, like someone's banging rocks against it. Are you okay? Why would they ask that? I already know how I feel. I'll be fine. Are you sure? I don't answer, and I hear them sigh. Richter, I tried to tell you. No, you're right. I get up and brush myself off. Cold dirt sticking to my clothes. Still shaking all over. Sorry for not listening. Sit down on the corner of the bed by the window. I saw everything. It was horrible. I can tell they're trying to pick their words carefully as they continue to speak. The past hurts. You know that better than most, considering your first real experience with vision. Think back to the scene playing out with the Queen's death as Raynar lays there, helpless to stop it. An assassin with a dagger, taking life for some unknown reason. What you just did is seen to drive most men insane. Or close to the edge, so to say. I feel insane. You're not. I'm honestly surprised. Your vision was clearer than I thought it would be. I get into a sitting position. Not clear enough, though. Do you know... It's hard to form the words after everything that just happened. Yes? Do you know why I was the assassin? Does it mean anything? They take a few seconds to form an answer. Doesn't mean anything. It's just your own mind playing tricks on you. Or could it be that you feel guilty for his death? They say those last few words with a bit of carefulness in their voice. It's not that I feel completely guilty, I just think back to the night when it all happened. Raynar said that he wanted to see me in his chambers later. I didn't really think about it too much, so I went off and spent the rest of the night with Lyall. Then I got a bit carried away. When the servant was sent for me, I took my sweet time getting ready, and when I got there, it's already too late. I just wonder sometimes. If I had gotten there a bit earlier, I might have been able to do something about it. I know. I've been suppressing this feeling for quite some time. It's not your fault, though. What happened can't be changed, and it can't be helped. You just need to focus on what's to come. You're right. I just need to do what I can to fix this mess, to make sure the future isn't as dark. That reminds me. Before I can ask them anything, I become more aware of the sound of armor clinking together. Sounds like a guard is pacing around the tunnel. Hang on. Don't want any more interruptions. Close my eyes and concentrate. Then within seconds, I'm in the mind's eye. Come on out, Ty. Haven't been called that in a long time. Won't call you that if you don't want me to. Richter, I couldn't care less what you call me. Okay. Can I ask you a question? Of course. You know that book Leaf showed me? Yes. It said something about your purpose. Something about how you're here to guide everyone to a brighter future. Yes, it did say something about that. What of it? Is it true that you know what's going to happen in the future? They take their paw and brush it along the scales of their arm, giving it some thought. In a way, yes. It's a bit more complicated than that. How so? Think of it like this. They place their finger on one of their scales on their arm. You believe there are to be a single future that can be altered, depending on choices made in the present, correct? I suppose. Well, that's not entirely true. With this, they slightly lift the scale, making the others in front of it light up a bit. Lift up a bit as well. There are so many possible futures. They're all playing out separately from each other, and every single one is different from the last in some way. Scales on their arm begin to bristle and create waves across the surface. It's mesmerizing. Each prediction and every decision leads into another, creating the flow of time. One future is not entirely discarded, but simply forgotten. These futures cannot be predicted long-term, however. They guide their hands over their head, as if gesturing to all of these different realities. We can never truly tell which future will come to be, or which event is going to take place. We'll never know it's true until it happens. We? They lower their arm and gaze down at me with a disturbed look. Referring to mankind. Right. Does my future look bright? Let out another sigh. If I could tell you, I would. But sadly, I can't. That's why you have to trust me. I still don't like how much you hide from me. Even when you don't have to. They take a long, deep breath before speaking. I'm not trying to hide anything from you. I'm trying to protect you. From what? From everything. You're protecting me from everything. Richter, I've been doing this for countless years. And I've had a long time to make many mistakes. A lot of mistakes. pair of their arms hang limp at their side. Gods aren't perfect, Richter, and I'm the best example. Take a few steps towards their towering form so I can get a bit closer. Yes, but you've done a lot more good than bad, right? They look at me with a downhearted gaze. Of course, that can never make up for all of it. Chest heaves and they relax a bit. This is what it is, Richter. This is what it is to be a god. There are sheep and you are their shepherd, except there is no wolf, only the sheep. And you sit there trying to stop the rams from killing each other, to no avail. For only a moment, I catch a glimpse of sadness in their eyes. Quickly fades away, however. I never thought of it like that. It's just the way things are. Us gods can only help from the shadows. We cannot interfere with mortal affairs too much. Tygren, may I ask you a question? Small turns into a wary frown. Yes. Will try to be as open as I can with you. Who is Alverton? The name slips from my mouth. See their eyes stare off into space. They shake their heads slightly and answer, "If you truly must know." I feel it is only fair given you were able to unearth that vision to begin with. Not only that, but I was the one who pushed you to try for something a bit new. Their arms wave to and fro, as if at this point they're talking to themselves. Then when they look down and clear their throat, beginning to speak. You've heard the name before, have you not? It's an old name, but yes, I have. There's an island not too far south from where you currently are. Alverton Isle, to the east of Grimrock. Yes? The island was named after him. Over a thousand years ago. 1,000 years? Didn't want to believe it at first, but it all makes sense. To think that I can see that far into the past. Was I right earlier? Is Alverton one of your avatars? A thoughtful look glazes over their eyes. Alverton was the first. It was my first avatar. What were you doing in that vision? They cross their arms. Instead of asking questions, just let me tell you what I know I can. Okay? They lower their arms and continue with a slight sigh. He was not only my first avatar, but the introduction to my existence. I would have done anything for him. I would have done anything for him. Even considering he's the reason. The reason for what? This is why I don't like to tell stories. Face is frozen as they whisper this under their breath, but they continue. Nothing. The point is, you have a lot to thank them for. And a lot to learn from them. I believe it to be beneficial for you to study their past. Study their past? Trying to be focusing on studying Raynar's past? Of course. But when you find the time, I would suggest looking into his past. Mind's eye starts to slowly fade around me. Wait, I have 2 more questions. Yes? First, when I was seeing into Alverton's past, I wasn't viewing it from his perspective. I was just floating around him, like a ghost. Is that because he is an avatar like me? Tygren places a hand under their chin. Sorry, let's start yawning. Tygren places a hand under their chin with an impressed look. Very good observation. Yes, that is the reason. And my last question. Would it be better if I tried to see that night through the killer's perspective? They tilt their heads slightly and raise a hand. No. Would be even more difficult. You know King Raynar was killed on that night, so it's easier to envision it. But you don't know who the killer was. Trying to get a vision of that would be much harder. You'll learn that this applies to most visions of the past that are so recently laid out on the flow of time. That makes sense. Another reason I'm regretting that proposal is the fact that I'm not very eager to play out the scene of killing Raynar, even if I'm not the one doing it. Okay, I think I'm ready to leave now. I need the rest after everything that just happened. They nod. Very well. I'll leave you with some advice before you go. Your only limit is your mind.
Bye-bye, Dream Daddy. Bye-bye.
Before I can respond to their bit of advice, they disappear. With that, the mind's eye closes in around me. How curious. Just like that, I'm back in the cold, yet hot and humid cell. The sun is still high in the sky, and there isn't a cloud in sight. The clinking sound of armor that I remember hearing before seems to be getting louder. Whoever it is, they're getting closer. It's weird coming out of the mind's eye with not a second of time passed. The guard rounds the corner and drops a tray to the floor. It's not high enough to mess up the meal, but still rattles around. Here's your food. There's a wooden cup of water and a bowl of porridge, with some greens on the side. A piece of parchment placed on the tray slowly drifts to the floor and lands in a puddle. The guard lightly kicks the tray so that it slides underneath the barred door, then laughs to himself softly as he walks away towards the entrance of the dungeons. I rise from my seat and go to pick it up. Water drips from it, but it's still legible. Everything is going to be okay. Everything is going to turn out okay.
I promise you this. You have all my love. Lyall.
Before I can even read the letter, my eyes glance down to see it's signed by Lyall. Seeing his pretty handwriting messily thrown onto the paper fills me with a warm feeling. Just words of assurance are enough to make me smile in this lonely cell. What I would give to have him down here with me. He could take off all that cold armor and hold me against his warm body. I'd sleep much better if that were the case. As I walk over to the pile of hay where I like to store things, I remember the medicine Leaf gave to me. My head is still aching from that nightmare. Of an experience earlier. I slide the letter into the pile and pull out the small vial of pellets. I pull out the cork and pop one into my mouth. It has a sour taste, but I quickly swallow it down using the cup of water. I'm not very hungry right now, so I just walk over to my bed and lie down. I need the rest of my head for just a bit. What happened earlier took everything out of me. Thinking about it won't do me any good right now. Once I wake up, I'll figure it out. Before I know it, I'm fast asleep. Yet my eyes haven't felt like they've been closed in a long time. I still don't. Chapter 10, Day 33. It's a chess piece. Okay. It's a chess piece, and there's a knife in the chess piece. The chess piece that the chess piece was a chess piece of is the knight. So the knight has a dagger in it. Earlier in the conversation between Adrius and Richter, they acknowledged that that Lyall is the knight. Lyall is a knight. So there's a dagger in the knight, which is representative of Lyall. So that's probably not good. And looks like next chapter, chapter 10, is another one from Lyall's perspective. Anyway, thank you if you made it to the end of this video. I had to do an extra long Lyre. I had to do an extra long Lyre video to catch up the titles and thumbnails so that they're all like synchronized properly. So now next time we'll be doing chapter 10 of Lyre. And we're approaching the end of the narrative now, I think. I think Lyre has like 14 chapters, maybe? Probably 13. I think it's 13. I don't know. But anyway, there's like 3 or so chapters left. There's three or so chapters left. Anyway, a lot of intense things happened so far. I feel like a lot has happened, but also not a lot at the same time. Like we saw Adrius' coronation. Adrius, he kind of bullied some people for a while. We got to see some stuff with Lyall at the very beginning. We've got to explore some more time with Tygren and how Richter is able to use the mind's eye, and what are some of the possible repercussions if he uses it irresponsibly, it seems. Anyway, I hope Richter can get out of his heck himself soon. And next time we'll see what Lyall's up to.
in chapter 10 of Lyre. Anyway, thank you guys.